Hey, this is Greg. Welcome to the channel. I've done several videos on Exxon's Guyana discovery and how unbelievable it is and how it could be the greatest oil discovery in history. But the natural question comes up, what's in it for Guyana? What is Guyana going to get out of it? And what is the basic business deal that Exxon and its consortium has with Guyana? I think this is a very interesting question, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And the question really is Guyana the richest oil country in the world? Okay, so how much can Guyana actually make on this deal? I mean, obviously you can't come up with the exact numbers, but I got my hand on their actual agreement, okay? The actual agreement between Exxon and its partners and Guyana, okay? Well, this isn't the actual agreement. This is just a prop, okay? But on my computer, I have the actual agreement. And on this video, I'm going to go through it with you. And what you'll need to do is watch this video to the end, because at the end, I'm going to run some numbers and you're going to see the astounding sum that could be coming the way of Guyana and hopefully the Guyanese people as a result of this stupendous and amazing oil discovery. Okay, so as I said on the previous videos, and I'm going to put both of them in the end screen at the end of this video, put one up here and one up here. And you can check them out. They go into a lot more detail on the actual project, and there's a lot of great information in there if you want to learn more about the project. But on this video, we're going to focus on what's in it for Guyana and what are they actually potentially going to make from this oil discovery. Now, going back to 2015, Exxon began to discover an amazing amount of oil and gas resource in what's called the 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐞 block. Okay, this 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐞 block is off the coast of Guyana, and it's approximately 6.6 million acres of undersea area that the resource has been discovered in. Okay, so I might mention that Exxon is part of a consortium along with two other companies. One is a Chinese company that has 30%, Hess, which has 25%, and Exxon is the lead investor slash operator and the lead partner in the project with 45% of the partnership. Now, before we go into the specifics of the actual deal itself, as of today, and this could change, it could go up in the future, but as of today, Exxon has discovered at least 11 billion barrels of oil in the 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐞 block. This is a stupendous sum, and it could be worth upwards of many hundreds of billions of dollars, and potentially, depending on what oil price you plug in there, potentially over $1 trillion of resource. Absolutely incredible. Now, as I said before, I have the actual agreement that was signed by Guyana and Exxon. And so I'm going to go through that agreement. There's basically four main parts of it that describe how the spoils, so to speak, are split up in the partnership. So let's go into that right now. Okay, here you have the actual agreement, guys. This is the Petroleum Agreement signed in 2016 between the government of Guyana and Esso Exploration and Production Guyana Limited. That's the name under which Exxon is proceeding with this project. You can see this is the Chinese company, and this is Hess, and you can see the official stamp of Guyana proper, and you have everybody's abbreviations there, meaning that they read the agreement and they agree to it. Very official. Now, as we look at the table of contents, there's basically four areas rather that we're going to look at. We're going to look at the recovery of costs. We're going to look at the annual licensing fee, the royalty, and the revenue sharing. Okay? Okay, this section, Article 11, talks about cost recovery and production sharing. This is the main part of the agreement. And I'm not going to read through the whole thing, I'll just summarize. But basically what it says is that Exxon and the group is entitled to recover all of their costs, all of their development costs, prior to any production sharing with Guyana. And I guess here's where kind of the rubber meets the road a little bit, because it can be disputed in terms of what's cost recovery. And I'm not sure if Guyana has the ability to properly audit all of the costs, and they're kind of like relying on Exxon to be honest here. Exxon's a very admirable, a company with a high degree of integrity. So, I would think that it's on the up and up, but I'm sure there are people in Guyana who thinks that Exxon is ripping them off. But, there's really no evidence of that. But basically it says that once the recoverable contract costs, which is a defined term, is recovered, then half of the oil and gas profit, because natural gas is a byproduct of the oil extraction process. You naturally produce gas, so there will be some gas recovery. But anyway, long story short, once the costs are recovered, the contractor and Guyana split it 50-50. Okay, so 50-50 is the deal once costs are recovered. Okay, now there's a number of other things, financial aspects of this that are going to Guyana also. Next we go to Article 10, which is right before it, annual license rental charge. Okay, so in addition to splitting it 50-50 after costs, Guyana gets an annual license rental fee for granting, so to speak, the contractor, which is Exxon and the group, the ability to prospect within this 6.6 million acres, okay? And the rental charge for that per year is $1 million, or as Dr. 𝐦𝐤𝐤 would say,
$1 million.
Okay, so they get paid that every year. Now, in addition to that, they get another payment. And let's go down to Article 15. Article 15, taxation and royalty. Okay, so the way this works is that for every, and this can be before the expenses are reimbursed, for every barrel that is sold out of this resource, they are going to get a 2% royalty. So Guyana has already gotten millions of dollars in royalties from the resource that's been taken out of this Stabroek block, but Exxon is, I'm sure, very far from recovering its costs at this point in time. Okay, so one of the things that struck me when I was looking at this is, okay, so they get the 2% royalty, they get the annual licensing fee. Where the rubber really meets the road and where they're really going to make a lot of money, that is Guyana, well, both sides actually, is after the cost is recovered. So the question is, how much is this costing Exxon to discover this resource and get it out of the seafloor? Now, I spent a tremendous amount of time trying to find out how much does Exxon have into this thing. I looked at the annual report, I looked at the 10Qs, I looked all over the internet. I can't find it. So if anyone, I'm sure someone out there is going to find it, right, and make me look dumb, but that's okay, okay? If you find how much Exxon has invested in this so far, please let me know. The only thing I have found is this, which basically says that since 2015, Exxon has put in $96.4 billion in procuring goods and services from local companies. Okay, so I don't know exactly what that means. I would assume that that is money that's been spent that are bona fide costs that will be recovered under the agreement. However, for the purposes of what we're doing here, I can't assume that that's all the money that they've put in. I'm sure they put a lot more in buying the equipment, in the engineering, the early seismic work that was done, and all of this. There's a tremendous amount of engineering work that goes into this before you actually get any oil out of the ground. So let's assume, for the purposes of this video, just to get a sense of the magnitude of the numbers we're talking about here, let's assume, for the purposes of the agreement, that Exxon laid out, all told, in all the different phases of the project, of which there are many, okay? Let's say at the end of the day, they'll lay out $150 billion, okay, for the purposes of the agreement. Okay, and we know that the resource is about 11 billion barrels, okay? That's what we have to work with today. So let's do a couple of numbers here. Let's be conservative. Right now, oil is above 100, we all know. Let's be conservative and say that they only realize, say, $70 a barrel, okay, on average. Some might be higher, some might be lower. On average, that's what they realize. So that means that the resource is worth $770 billion, okay, if you just do that simple math. If we assume that Exxon's cost is $150 billion of that, the net, or the amount that's going to be split, is about $620 billion. Now, we also don't know what time period this is over. This could be 10 years, it could be 20 years, it could be 30 years. We just don't know at this point. But if you do that math, I believe that Guyana's share of this is going to be worth probably a minimum of about $310 billion, which is a very large sum. But of course, we don't know what the commodity cost is going to be in the future going in. So you can do sensitivity on this. It's a fairly simple math. You can do sensitivity on it, put in different oil prices, and you can see the magnitude of how enormous this resource and this agreement could be to Guyana. Just as an example, if you assume $100 a barrel, okay, let's be more aggressive, $100 a barrel, that means that the 11 billion barrels are worth $1.1 trillion, okay? And if you do the same math, you subtract 150 billion for the cost and divide by half, that gives the value of $475 billion to Guyana, okay? So let's say, for the purposes of this video, Guyana could earn between $300 billion and $500 billion. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so the numbers used in this video, obviously they're not exact. I did have the agreement, but I don't have all the facts associated with it, and to be honest with you, I don't think a lot of these facts are really publicly available. But I think you can get a sense of what a stupendous discovery this Guyana discovery is, and how it's not only going to benefit Exxon and Exxon shareholders, along with its other partners, in an enormous and ongoing way, a very meaningful way, but it should also make a very positive impact to Guyana and the Guyanese people. And I hope very sincerely that the government does the right thing with the money, and all of the people of Guyana benefit in a very meaningful way. Okay, well, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got value out of it, please like and subscribe, and hit the bell so you can be notified in the future when I come out with more videos. I do videos on this channel related to the economy, the stock market. We do quite a bit on oil and gas and the energy sector. And we cover economics, Fed policy, a lot of very interesting subjects. if you are an investor. And the sole purpose of this channel is to make you a better and richer investor. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next video.